Hi, I'm Lynn Woods from CalicoFabric.com, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about my new series of sewing classes. I'm calling it Sewing for Beginners Only. This is a continuation of the free online sewing classes I have for beginners. So if you know how to thread your machine and how to operate your sewing machine, this is a continuation of that. You'll be making a project and you'll be making samples and putting those into a book so you can use them in the future. One of the reasons I'm teaching online, one of the main reasons, is I really love to teach beginners how to sew. And I have a studio here in California, and I live in a small town, but I wanted to reach a wider audience. It's really popular to learn how to sew now, and there's a good reason for that, because it's fun, and it's just a fantastic hobby that will relieve some of your stress from your busy life. You can take classes in person, and there are some really nice classes. They are a little expensive, and I think they're getting harder to find. So you can look at fabric stores, and maybe there's someone in your town or city that does teach. The problem with learning in person, it is hands-on, and that's really nice, but one of the problems is that you have to bring all of your equipment. So you're going to a place, you're finding parking, you're finding a babysitter, and you're bringing all of your equipment or your fabric in. You're waiting for a table, you're waiting for an iron. Sometimes you have to share a sewing machine. And the biggest problem, I think, is that your instructor is very busy. So when you have a question, you're waiting for an answer, and that's not always very conducive to a good learning environment. So the online classes are good because you get to learn when you want to, when you have the time, and you don't have to hire a babysitter. You can do it at any time of the day or night, whenever you have the time. There are some other classes online, and I think some of them are excellent. The problem I see with them, though, is that they are for more advanced students. They aren't specifically for beginner sewers. They have very advanced language, so they're giving you a lot of terms that you may not understand. I've developed these classes so that the projects are built upon the sample techniques that you've done during the week. And that way you already know how to do it because you've already made a sample. And I wanted to show you the type of samples that you'll be doing. You're going to be making a book. You'll take a scrap of fabric and you'll actually try the technique on a spare piece of fabric and then put it into your very own book. It's got complete instructions and a place for you to put that. And the reason I like the sample book is that you can use this after you've sewn for a while. You may forget how to do a certain technique. This allows you to go back and you say, oh, I did that technique before. I know I can do it again. So that's why the sample book is great. Plus, once you've learned and done the samples from the weekly emails, then you have exactly the skills you need to make the project that's given at the end of the month. There are a lot of people that say they just don't have the time to do this, but the way I have the email structured is you will get an email once a week, and during the week you simply go to the links, and there will be links for videos and pictures and written instructions, and follow those instructions, do that reading, watch a video on your time. And I think everybody has a little bit of time. You don't have to show up at a certain time. And if you follow those and do the samples and do that every week, by the end of the month you're going to have a completed sewing project. Now, I am charging this time. I do have to make a living, but I think that what I'm charging is very reasonable. When I have private students here in my studio, I'm charging $40 for a 2.5-hour one-time lesson. These lessons that you get online, your weekly emails, are $19.95 for the month, and as I said, by the end of the month you will have a completed project and a good start on your sample book with all of your samples for future use. So if you are interested and you do know how to operate your sewing machine, then I think this is a great next step. You can learn more if you read the rest of the web page. There's also a Buy It Now button on the end. And if you do have questions, you're welcome to email me. There's a Contact Me link down at the bottom of each of my web pages.